إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our Dawah training workshop. Inshallah you'll find it useful, and we're going to begin by a slide with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remind ourselves that this name is the greatest name, and it's reminding us that our purpose of our dawah, our purpose of our life is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing less than that and nothing more than that. That is the sole purpose of our dawah, and that is the sole purpose of our lives. Okay. And this must be focused not only in our dawah, obviously, but also throughout our lives, inshallah. So let's keep that in mind, and that's why I'm starting with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is a great mercy of Allah, okay? And we should be really grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have this name. Other nations on this earth, other religions, do not have the name of Allah. The Christians, more than 1 billion Christians, they're praying every day, and they say, what do they say? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Ask them, what is the name of God? Don't know. You pray every day, hallowed be thy name, and you don't know his name? Come on, okay. We're going to see it is Allah from the Bible and the Quran. Can I start off by saying that all goodness is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the mistakes are obviously from myself. I ask Allah to forgive me, I ask you to forgive me, I ask you to correct me. So it's your responsibility. Somebody could just connect this up, please. The battery's there. The Dawah training is sharing of experience. So you've all got experience, I'm sure. So inshallah, interaction please. So we want some feedback as we go along. I have no problem, as the program says, with anything you want to say, raise your hands, and inshallah, contribute. It's not a problem. Any mistakes, please correct them. If I'm going too fast, I want you to correct me. If I'm going too slow, to correct me. If I'm not loud enough, you need to correct me, although my family tells me I'm already too loud, so I don't know really. So we ask Allah for guidance and forgiveness. This is the word we start with, and the words I started with, I'm sure you know the translation, but I'll just translate it inshallah. We say, certainly all the praise, certainly the praise is for Allah. We praise Him. When we ask for His help. We ask for His forgiveness. We send salam and salutations upon His beloved Prophet, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his companions and his family, inshallah. So let us begin. Firstly, why am I presenting this Dawah training here? The reason I'm presenting Dawah training is not about knowledge. I'm sure you have as much knowledge as I have, and probably some of you, many of you, most of you may have a lot more knowledge than I have. Okay, so it's not about knowledge. And what I'm saying is not to show off, astaghfirullah, okay, may Allah forgive me, and this was one of the reasons I've been reluctant to do Dawah training for many years. It was only about a year ago, my daughter insisted at university, she said, Dad, you've been doing Dawah training, you've been doing these Dawah tables, etc. for so long, and people have become Muslims, you should share this knowledge. And other brothers at the Dawah table have been telling this as well. And I've been reluctant. Because it's like showing off and so on, and I'm not a speaker by nature, so I thought it's not a good idea. But then, when she insisted, I thought, okay, I'll have a go. I did it first, and I found that the feedback, alhamdulillah, was really good. People found it really useful, and then alhamdulillah, I took off from there. Okay, then I've done several universities, and I've done courses all over the country, alhamdulillah. There's also other courses, there's iEra, and people that have actually done both, what they've said is, iEra provided the skeleton, and then I provided the sort of meat on the skeleton. So it gives you some idea, it's more detailed, it's a bit more nitty-gritty, but inshallah it should be useful for you. The other reason I'm presenting it is, I mentioned to you that we do this Dawah table, and alhamdulillah, now, after a number of years of doing these Dawah tables, finding that alhamdulillah, every Saturday we do these Dawah tables during the day, and we have about 2 or 3 people taking the Shahada, alhamdulillah, every week. Yesterday, I was there because I was with the brother at the radio station. So we arrived there about 4:15. But alhamdulillah, we still had one lady took the shahada, alhamdulillah, yesterday. And we'll see how we do this. It's a technique. Okay, this is what I want you to learn, inshallah. It's not theory. Throughout, this is one of the reasons I was reluctant to doing dawah training, because I did lots of dawah courses, how to do dawah by this shape and that shape and this shape. And I go there and I'm thinking, okay, yes, it's good knowledge. Pass it over, please. It's good knowledge. It's good knowledge, but it's not really practical. Okay, it's not really practical. What this is about is practicality. This is what I want you to learn, inshallah. Okay. Right. We're going to start now. This is the start. It's going to be a bit of a journey. Okay, it's going to be a journey, but unfortunately, it's not going to be in this modern super jumbo jet. Okay, and it's not going to be very smooth. It's a bit more like this. Okay, so if it's a bit more like this, it means at the beginning it's going to be a bit like this, which means what? You're going to grow a tree. At the beginning, it's going to be like this. It's going to be a little bit dry, but inshallah, later on, you'll find it's a bit more like this. And inshallah, it's going to be worth it, inshallah. So right, let's continue. This is the program which you've all got in front of you. Okay. Now, you don't need to make notes. You should have this program in front of you. If you don't, get one from the brother. Because I think you've got some idea of the timeline, which means it'll be useful to see how far we've got and when can I have my next cup of tea and when do I need to wake up again. Right. Again, reminder, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. That is who we're trying to please. Nothing more than that and nothing less than that. That is the aim of our dawah. Okay. As I said earlier on, remind ourselves again, we must have this in our minds, inshallah. First thing, right. What is dawah? Dawah, as I said at the beginning, a little bit dry, a little bit of a desert. Okay, so you're going to be a little bit boring. You'll have to bear with me. Dawah means to invite someone. This is the linguistic meaning. Okay, usually understood to mean to preach. Many different ways to invite to Islam. Okay, and obviously the most important is by our own example. This is necessary. Okay, it's essential. We've got to be good examples. It's no good giving. Okay, in a certain situation, maybe okay, you're just giving information, but obviously we've got to be good examples. Okay. And otherwise it will be hypocrisy. Okay, so we've got good examples. And you've got to be a good example, and then you give the message as well, inshallah. Today, there are many forms of dawah, as I said, but we're only covering one type of dawah today, and which is, of course, dialogue. Okay, this dialogue could be your work colleagues, people that work for you, maybe. Okay, maybe people you work under, maybe people you're traveling with on a bus, in a taxi or whatever. Okay, short journey. It could be somebody you're giving dawah to in some sort of a open day, meet your Muslim neighbor, open day, or it could be any situation really, or your neighbors. Okay. So it's dialogue. Okay, we're going to learn dialogue, inshallah. Okay. Now, important thing is to remember. Of course, I'm sure all the brothers know, inshallah. Just a reminder. A lot of this is a reminder. Is do not underestimate the greatness of this work. This is the work of who? The work of the greatest human beings that have ever lived on this earth. Imagine the work of the greatest human beings that have ever lived on this earth. Now let's go back and let's see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the creation of the human being in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, Allah said to the angels, I'm going to create this human being. Okay, I'm giving you approximate words. I'm sorry, I'm not Dr. Zakir Naik, so it's not going to be page number, chapter number, verse number. I'm sorry about that. And some of them I do know, but I try and avoid that. Because with dawah training, I want people to sort of say, it's not difficult. I'm not Dr. Zakir Naik. I don't know the page number, verse number, but I can still do dawah. Okay, otherwise I'm quoting numbers, you're going to say, oh, smart like this. I can't do that. Okay, so I'm going to avoid that, even though I may know a few of them. Right. Now, it's the greatest human beings. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Quran? Allah says in the Quran that Allah told the angels He's going to create as a human being. And what do the angels say? Angels said to Allah, "Oh Allah, are you going to create someone," approximate words of the Quran, not word for word translation, "are you going to create somebody who's going to spread corruption upon the earth and shed blood?" And what did Allah say? Allah said to the angels, "I know something which you do not know." One of the scholars says, what is the information that Allah knew which the angels did not know? Was that these human beings, which would be spreading corruption on the earth, we see it every day, we see it all the time throughout history, and shedding blood, we've seen it in history, okay? Amongst these human beings would be whom? Would be people whose lives would be exemplary. Okay? Who would be like shining diamonds on the face of the earth. These are the prophets of Allah. These are whom we're trying to follow. Is dawah necessary? That's the question. Okay, yes, it was for the prophets. What about us? We're just living our lives, we're doing our prayers and fasting. Is it necessary to do dawah? Do I have to do dawah? Let's look at the evidence for necessity. In the Quran, Allah SWT tells us, famous verse which you all know, we've heard many times before, and I'm sure you've heard it. I'm going to repeat it because it's a reminder, remember, inshallah. A lot of it is a reminder. Allah SWT tells us in the Quran, translated of course, Surah 16, verse 125, invite to the way of your Lord, that is Islam, with wisdom and fair preaching, and argue with them in a way that is better. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, translated, convey from me even one verse. Okay, that's look, the evidence, some evidence for necessity. Okay, here a command from Allah that you invite to the way of your Lord, with wisdom and fair preaching, and argue with them in a way that is better. Beautiful expression in the Quran. Okay? And scholars of tafsir, the mufassir say, with wisdom is what? What is the wisdom? What is the explanation of wisdom? Your own wisdom? What is the explanation of wisdom? Anybody? Brothers? I said, I'm sorry. I said to you, you can't fall asleep, I'm afraid. So what is the explanation of wisdom? Anybody?
Understanding the Quran.
The Quran. That's right. It's the Quran. Quran. The scholars say Quran. You can say Quran Sunnah, but the scholars say it's Quran. When Allah says use wisdom, it's the Quran. Okay, it's talking about, but Quran and Sunnah, of course, because they go hand in hand. And fair preaching, and argue the way that is better. Okay, basic principle. The Prophet ﷺ said, convey from me even one verse. Subhanallah. The Prophet ﷺ saying that convey to people even one verse. Isn't that's easy? You're traveling in a bus for 10 minutes, you could tell somebody one verse. Okay. One hadith, one Quran, something, one verse of the Quran, something, some information. Okay, then this I discovered only in the last few years. And this is getting very serious. This was something broadcast on the radio yesterday, if any of you were listening. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, okay, tells us about what happens if we hide the truth. Okay? We don't invite and we hide the truth. What does Allah say? This, I was shocked when I read this. I don't think many Muslims know this. I only discovered this only a few years ago. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, verily those who conceal the clear proofs, evidences and the guidance which we have sent down after we have made it clear for the people in the book, they are the ones cursed by Allah and cursed by the curser. Wow, that's serious, getting serious now. The Prophet Muhammad said what? He said, translated, whoever hides knowledge, Allah will brand him with a branding iron from the hellfire. That's getting very serious. You're hiding knowledge is getting very, very serious now. First you thought, oh, it's okay, I'm a Muslim, alhamdulillah. Then you thought, we'll give some dawah. Okay, it's still not bad. Now you're going to be cursed if you hide the knowledge. And if we don't give the knowledge to these people, we could earn the curse of Allah. It's getting very serious to hide knowledge and not convey the message to these people. Because, look, on the day of judgment, yes, there are 1.6 billion Muslims. But what about the other 4 or 5 billion people? They're going to say, he didn't tell me. Yeah, Muhammad used to live next to me, and yeah, I should work with him. He never told me. Yeah, he's a nice bloke. Yeah, he fasted in Ramadan, obviously, I know that. He never ate pork, right? I don't know what Islam was. Yeah, I think he worshipped Allah or something, or Muhammad. You know what I mean? He worshipped Muhammad, I think, or something like that. I don't know really. Nice bloke though, Big garlic breath, but... So, you've got to give the information, right? Now, the important thing is, dawah is an obligation, okay, as we've discovered, and the scholars explain this, and in fact, it's a visa. It's the visa which allows us to live in this country. It's that serious. Okay, where do I say that from? Look, not my opinion, okay, inshallah. All 4 schools of thought, okay, the 4 major, but then, they say all philosophers are unanimous in their opinion that you cannot live in a non-Muslim land unless for a few, very few specific reasons. And one of those reasons is to give dawah. You can't live here and build houses and mosques and everything else unless you're living here to give dawah. It's not an add-on, it's not an accessory. You buy a car and say, can you have this as well, please, can I have leather seats? No, it's not an accessory, it's something that's part of the car, it's the mechanics of it. Okay, so that's how important it is. And in fact, the visa which allows us to live in this country, really. Okay. Now, also, I take this from a Talib al-Ilm. Well, when I was going for a dawah table, and I took this from him, he said to me, brother, you're going to this dawah table? I said, yes. He said, brother, whenever you go to the dawah table, you're renewing your visa. He said, what do you mean? He said, you're renewing your visa to live here, otherwise you shouldn't live here, really. This is brother Talib al-Ilm who's telling me. Very, very knowledgeable. I say call him Talib al-Ilm, because really, for me, he's like a sheikh, okay? But he says he's Talib al-Ilm. I mean, all the sheikhs say that. So he said, you're renewing your visa to live here. You know, it's like that. Otherwise your visa's expired, mate. You know, go back to your country, mate. What will I get through dawah? What do we do achieve by dawah? Allah SWT says in the Quran, Surah 41. I'm used to saying chapter because when we speak non-Muslim, we say chapter. When we say surah, I think, oh my God, something dodgy going on here. You know, oh my God, something, you know, terrorist or something. So Quran, in the Quran, Surah 41, chapter 41, Surah 41, verse 33, Allah SWT tells us, and who is better in speech than he who invites to Allah and does righteous deeds and says, I am one of the Muslims. SubhanAllah, beautiful verse of the Quran. Okay, Allah says, who can be better in speech than he who invites to Allah, dawah, and does righteous deeds? We've got to do righteous deeds as well. And says, I am one of the Muslims. Okay, right? Okay, so these are the conditions of being Muslim. Or having the best speech, as one says in the Quran. And in Hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said, translated, by Allah, if Allah were to guide one man through you, it would be better for you than the best type of camels. Imagine, if one person was guided by you, through you, okay, it would be then better than the best type of camels. And of course, camels were very valuable in those days. Essential. Their livelihood, okay? It's like saying the best type of car. It's like saying better for you than the best type of cars. Okay? So you imagine like 10 Rolls Royces or something, 10 Lamborghinis or Ferraris, whatever, yeah? In this day and age, yeah? That's how valuable they were. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ said to the people. One person. And in fact, from what I remember, this hadith refers to not even becoming a Muslim. This is a mushrik becoming a mutawahid. Someone who is doing shirk becomes a worshipper of one God. Okay? Now, so this is what we learn in our dawah training is, look, if they become Muslim, alhamdulillah, that's beautiful, right? But if they don't, there are stages. I'll show you, inshallah, stages that you need to attain some stage. And one of those stages is, if they don't become a Muslim, okay, they don't take the Shahada, at least get them to accept there's one God. At least accept there is a God. There is one God, and He's like this. It's stages. Okay, we'll go through the stages. You've got to achieve something. Because I come across people at dawah table and I say, what have you achieved? You've been talking with this brother. You know, I take to one of the Da'i brothers. He says, yeah, I've been for a couple of hours, and yeah, he's interested. He's got, have you got anywhere? He hasn't become Muslim. So has he accepted anything? Do you know what his name is? No, I don't really know his name. Okay. Does he accept any of the things about Islam? I don't know, but he says really interested. It's like really nice, you know. He's got nice Muslim. You haven't achieved anything. You know, what are you doing? You're wasting time. You've got to achieve some, it's signposting. Okay, in business it's signposting. You've got to achieve something. There's 10 stages, at least they say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. 10 stages of Islam. Have they achieved 5 stages, 7 stages? We'll see that, okay? Right, you've got to do it like that. So if they don't become Muslim, at least they accept something. Question is, why is dawah training necessary? Okay, you all know about Islam. We live, breathe, eat Islam. Okay, all the time. And we love Islam. Right? So why do we need dawah training? That's the question, okay? You're going to say, this brother standing there telling us, I know about Islam anyway. You know, I'll give dawah, etc. Okay? Now, why is dawah training necessary? I'm going to give a couple of reasons why we need it. Look. I'm going to ask you, now you've got to wake up again, I'm afraid, a simple question in a dawah situation. Okay? In a dawah situation, simple question I'm going to ask you. I want answers. What is Islam? Come on, that's easy. That is the most basic. Can't get more basic than that. Okay? What is Islam? Now, the answer should be suitable to the listener. Now, I want your answers, please. What is Islam? Can I have some answers, please?
Submission. One God.
Peace.
Okay. Excuse me.
Code of life.
Right. As I said, the answer should be suitable to a Dawah situation. This is a non-Muslim he's speaking with. And what have you told him so far? It's a code. Somebody said a code of life. Someone said submission. And somebody said? I missed the third one.
We have life.
Peace. Okay, it's peace. It's peace, code of life, and submission. A way of life. Okay, that's someone saying that's what Islam is. Okay, let's carry on. I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's look at another question. Simple question again. What's water? Did somebody say what water is? Now, let me answer this one. What is water? It depends who's asking the question. That sounds devious. We're not being devious, we're being honest. Look, if a biologist asks you, what is water? What are you going to say? Look, water is necessary for life. You can't live without water, you die. Plants need it, animals need it, etc., etc. Yes? Different answer. A physicist asks you, sorry, a chemist asks you, what's water? What are you going to say? Water is this chemical, it's got these atoms, it's got these bonds, these are the angles of the bonds.
Why did I? You carry on.
Power. I think it was power cable.
Power.
It's in the back there. Right. So, what is water? If a chemist asks you, what is water? What are you going to say? Okay, you're going to say, it's this molecule, it's got these atoms in, 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of oxygen, they're bonded together, these are the angles, and it's got these hydrophilic properties, it's got water tension, etc. Yeah? Different answer. Same question, different answer. Correct? We're not being devious. What is water? Okay. And the water would be a different answer because depending on who's asking. If it's a biologist, it's different. If it's a chemist, it's different. Okay, now let's go back to the question, what is Islam? Now, brothers have said, okay, I'm not going to put out where, but brothers said it's a way of life, okay, and it's submission and it's peace. I think these are the 3 answers that we got. Okay, now remember, it's a Dawah situation. By the way, is the pointer, have I got the pointer?
Pointer's not working.
No, okay, fine. In a Dawah situation, okay, you're going to say this. Imagine you're meeting a non-Muslim, okay, for the first time. They don't generally ask this, what is Islam? But if they did, and even if they didn't, we need to know the answer to be able to give them this answer. What would you say? If you said to them, let's take the answers one by one. You said to them, it's submission to the will of God. Right? Now, linguistically, now there are 2 different things here. We have to be careful. What does Islam mean? What does the word Islam mean? The word Islam means peace through submission to the will of God. Okay, that's what Islam means. But what is Islam? There's a difference. What is Islam? Islam, what is Islam? Now, it's in a Dawah situation. If you're speaking to a non-Muslim, okay, and you say to them, it's submission to the will of God, what are you going to think? You're thinking, I don't even believe in God, right? I don't want to believe in God. And why should I submit to him anyway? Yes? It's going to put them off. It's not going to work. So it's not the right answer. Peace. Okay. I see a lot of Muslims dying, fighting, killing all over the place, and they're talking about peace. Doesn't, you know, okay, what peace what? Peace of something? Or I don't know what, yeah? No, look. Oh, the third one was the way of life. Maybe. Is that one of the answers usually comes up, way of life. Okay. If they said way of life, it's going to be a disaster. I don't know whether any of you said that, but if you said that, it's a disaster. They're saying, the guy's going, I don't change my way of life. My way of life is happy. You know, I've got my girlfriend, I've got my booze, I've got this, mate, you know, alright, mate, you know what? I'm alright, mate, you know, I don't want to change my life. Yeah? So, definitely, that is a disaster. Say a way of life, like, I don't want to change my life. I'm happy with my way of life. So, that's going to be a disaster. So no, remember, we're talking about a specific Dawah situation. We're not talking about a linguistic meaning or what Islam is overall. It is, of course, all these answers are correct, by the way. Throughout this, you'll find your answers are correct, even if I say they're not for a Dawah situation. They're usually correct answers, but not in a Dawah situation. That's why I emphasize that. Which means you're traveling with somebody in a bus for 15 minutes. I say, excuse me, for example, let's say, hypothetically, they said to you, what is Islam? You said to them, it's a way of life. I said, okay, fine, thanks, mate. I'd rather go on my way, mate. Jump off the bus. You know? So you got to have, it's got to be the answer. Now, what is the answer that I would give? Anything? Now, you've heard the idea. Can you improve on that now? What is Islam? Now, traveling the bus, work colleague, what are you going to say now? Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to say in a minute, but if anybody come up with something better?
Submission to Creator.
Okay, again, it's better because you're Creator rather than God, but again, they're going to say, I don't want to submit.
One Creator.
Submit to one Creator. Again, it's submission to the Creator. Again, same sort of thing.
See, Brother Faisal, they weren't listening to the radio program yesterday. If they were, they said the answer. You said the answer in the radio.
So, from next week, listen to the radio program and inshallah phone in and speak with the brother.
Which radio is that?
You can go. Sorry. Okay. I would say, this is what I would say the best answer is. Okay. You can improve on it. These are my answers. Nothing is the best in a sense that, unless it's Quran and Sunnah, I'm just giving you what I find useful in a Dawah situation. Okay. It's just my own personal experience. Remember that. This is throughout the whole training. Okay. What I would suggest to you is, if they ask you what Islam is, or you wouldn't tell them, it's a relationship. That's what I would say. It's a relationship between us and the Creator after knowing who the Creator is. Okay, it's a relationship. So the key word is relationship, okay, right? And secondly, it's about the Creator rather than God. Thirdly, it's after knowing who this Creator is. It sounds complicated, but it's not that complicated. Okay, now what is the relationship? That relationship is a relationship of submission. Okay, and the Creator is God. And the Creator is like this. So they might have different ideas about God. So you've got to go through these stages. So it's a relationship between us and the Creator after knowing who the Creator is. Or the minimum is, it's a relationship between us and the Creator. Okay, that's the minimum, I would say. It's a relationship. If you can't remember all of that, say it's a relationship between us and God. Okay, it's a relationship. Then say, oh, a relationship, okay. Well, what's a relationship? Then you can explain. You see, the answers have to encourage them to follow on. There's no point giving them a speech about Islam if you just ask what Islam is. But you need to give the right information, then create an interest in them, and they continue.
Why if they said that, I've got enough relationship as it is, I don't want any new relationship with anyone?
Okay, fine, they can say that. But that is what, yeah, okay, that's fine. They can say, I'm in a relationship, but they'll say this is a very special relationship. What I would say to them is, look, if they said that to me, if they say, oh, we're in a relationship, thanks very much, okay. I'll go, look, hang on a minute. I'll say, look, this relationship, I'll say to them, this is one thing I do use, and you come on later on to it, I would say to them, you've heard of Bill Gates? I say, yeah, Microsoft, yeah. And there's a couple of girls, I think they took the shot, I can't remember, but they agreed with the answer. I said, have you heard of Bill Gates? They said, yeah. Really rich guy, billionaire, yes. What would you think if he was your best friend? And they were Jamaicans, yeah, it's all right, bro, yeah, I like that, Imagine if he was your best friend, right? Bill Gates was your best friend, they said, yeah, it's a good idea. Now imagine Islam is saying, so I've gone forward. Islam is saying, let's just go back. Islam is saying that if you accept this idea, let's keep it simple, accept the idea, then you are going to have a relationship with this Creator, and this relationship is like having not Bill Gates as your best friend, but the Creator as your best friend. Imagine that. Not Bill Gates who's a billionaire, but the Creator who owns everything. He's not a billionaire, he owns the whole universe. He is your best friend. What do you think about that? I say, yeah, it's a good idea. See, they agreed with that idea. They don't want for religion, but they agreed with having God as your best friend. You see the point? Then you go forward. You've got to start with something. So if they said that, that's what I would go forward, like that. But it's a relationship is better than submission and so on, because it's just too strong. You got to do it gently. And sorry, we're still going on why Dawah training is necessary. But I think it's important, because this is all part of the thing. Okay. Another reason Dawah training is necessary is we need to be able to answer questions in a certain way, in what I would say the correct way. Okay, difficult questions, sometimes difficult questions. And awkward questions will be right at the end of the training. That's why the training is very long. Okay. But as the brother was just pointing out to me, that I'm going to mention to you that we're going to have a break, inshallah. I'd like to have a break 45 minutes or an hour after I start. So we're going to stop, inshallah. We started about 1:45. Should we stop at 1:45? Fine, okay. We'll stop at 1:45, inshallah, and have a break. It's another 20 minutes, I'm afraid. Another 25 minutes, I'm afraid. Okay. Right. Questions in the correct way. Now let's have a look. You've got the idea with the water in Islam? Now, the next bit should be easy for you. You should all put your hands up and say, yes, I know the answer. Okay, first question. A bit more difficult, isn't it? Okay, who made God? Any answers? Anybody else? Who made God?
No one.
No one made God. Correct answer, but not good enough, I'm afraid. Sorry. Anybody else? No. Okay, we'll answer this later on, okay? Now, when you have feedback forms, somebody wrote in and said, I think it was sister, because sisters tend to write a lot. Like, brothers like yes, no, sisters write like about 10 pages of comments. So, slightly exaggerated. But they made a comment, and someone said, you didn't answer all the questions. You know the questions you said at the beginning of the session? You didn't answer all of them, and I'm not happy with them. Somebody wrote. Okay, because I may not cover all of them. To be honest, I do cover all of them, but the answers are hidden. Okay, and you get the answers, they're hidden. But they're not hidden, and you want the answers, any of the questions, come up with them, okay? And inshallah, there's ways of answering it, we'll see. Okay, who made God? I'm not going to cover it now, but later on, inshallah. But if I don't, remind me. Second question, why Islam, not Christianity? Okay, you can all give lots of reasons, but we're not going to cover them now. Okay. Remember, we're not covering these now. This is to give you some idea of why we need to carry on and why you can't go home now. How can you prove that you need proof of Islam? Look, my favourite is, look, you tell them about Islam and I tell them, this is all a fairy story. Look, it's like a fairy story. There's God up there, He sent His prophet, and they give you a message, it's like a fairy story. Unless you have a proof. True or not?
Yes.
If I tell you, yes, something's happened in Luton or whatever, if you trust the guy, it's fine. But otherwise, what do you mean? Is there any evidence? Are you sure that's happened? Okay. You want some proof. True or not? Okay. Right. Because it's very serious. So you want to prove. So you need to give proof of Islam. What is the proof that Islam is true? It's no good without proof. And a lot of people fail on this. We'll come back later. What is the proof? Can you prove to me that God exists? Yes, we can. Okay. And it's linked to how the proof of Islam is true. Come back later again. Again, you're not answering now. Just give you some food for thought. The actual food will come later. Why do natural disasters happen? Okay, very importantly, tsunami happened, earthquake happened, you've got to give reason. Then they might ask. If they don't ask, it's worth telling them. So you're working at work, okay? One sister didn't like this, what I suggested, and obviously all of this, it may not be suitable for everyone. Okay, horses for courses, say, or different folks for different strokes. Different strokes for different folks even. The other way around maybe even. Okay, but it's useful. For example, you're at work, right? You're working with a colleague, you're working away with him, depends on sort of work, etc. But approximately you could say, oh yeah, John, do you know this earthquake? Oh, it's bad, isn't it? Up there, it happened, this earthquake, and the tsunami and everything, it's really bad, isn't it? Yeah. But it's okay, I know what happened because the Quran tells us, and you carry on working. He said, what do you mean, Muhammad? I'm using Muhammad as a general name here. He goes, Muhammad, what do you mean it's in the Quran? Can you tell me why you believe that? Hang on, I haven't got time, I'll tell you later. Oh, Muhammad, I want you to know, you tell me, So you got them interested, yes? So then you come back. Now I'll tell you how we answer that, yes? But you create an interest, okay? Then you tell them, I know why it happened because it's in the Quran. The explanation is in the Quran. Okay, not exactly this, yeah? Okay. Or whatever. If it's earthquake or whatever happened, yeah? So you can, and how we understand. If I become a Muslim, will I have to cover up? This was a lady who said this to me, and as far as I remember, I gave the answer and she became a Muslim. Alhamdulillah, okay? Because this was a problem for her. I become Muslim, but I don't have to cover up. Why do I have to cover up? Okay, makes sense, etc., etc. Now, this is a specific question, but it's a general application. You could use it in many, many situations. If I do this, would I have to do this, etc. If I do this, would I have to give up my girlfriend? Would I have to give up my alcohol? Would I have to give up my beer? Or whatever, yeah? Okay, so it's a general thing. Now, in this particular situation, what I used was a specific answer, and any of you, what would you say? If someone said to you, right, if I become a Muslim, will I have to cover up, yeah? What would you say to them? What was the answers you would give? You've got the idea, it's got to be a Dawah situation, not a general thing, it's not a Muslim just asking, it's about someone who's not Muslim, who's maybe interested in Islam. What do you say? Any answers, brothers or sisters?
Depends how close you feel to the Creator.
Okay, depends how you feel close to the Creator. Anybody else answer?
Just cover up, save yourself from doing sin.
Okay, fine. Cover yourself up, brother said, and save yourself from doing sins. Okay, anybody else?
You're saying she's already a Muslim?
No. No, what we're saying is that she is interested in becoming a Muslim, or if not, she's interested in Islam, makes sense to her, seems logical, but then she's saying, but basically it's an obstacle for her. She's saying, I don't want to become a Muslim because I need to cover up. That's what she's saying. So she's saying to you, yeah, but if I become a Muslim, I've got to cover up, haven't I? You've got to cover up anything. Or if she doesn't say that, maybe you have to tell her, look, you don't have to cover up because, or you do have to cover up. Okay. Now, very important dawah or anything in life, don't lie. Some brothers came up with the answers and sisters came, well, brothers came up before in another situation where they said you don't have to cover up. They're not changing Islam, we're presenting Islam. So there is a difference. It's a different, sorry, you're on the wrong course. So, wrong masjid. Sorry, it's like, you know. Right, if I become Muslim, will I have to cover up?
It depends, I suppose. If I think there's a universal concept of love, or when you love someone, or you have a good, strong feelings for someone.
Have you seen the manual? Have you seen the Dawah manual? Have you seen it?
No.
That's right. That's the answer I would give. It depends, doesn't know. I don't have written down manual. The answer's there.
Listen to the radio.
Oh, was it on there? Okay. Right, okay, brilliant. That's right. That's what I would say. Okay, the brother gave answer. How close you are to the Creator, it depends how you love. That's what I said to the sister, to the lady, sorry. And alhamdulillah, she took the shahada, as far as I remember, a few years ago. I said to her, look, it depends how much you love God. Right? If you love God a lot, then cover up. If you don't love God a lot, then don't cover up. She was happy with the answer. Okay? So it depends on that. And that is true. Now, you might say, oh, astaghfirullah, you know, it's in the Quran and Sunnah, you can't love God. No, but it's true, because you don't do things because it's written in the Quran and the Sunnah, or said in the Quran and Sunnah. You do it out of the love of God, out of the fear of God. True or not? Yes? Not because it's written in a book. I mean, anything can be written in any book. At the end of the day, you do it because it's in the Quran and the Sunnah, because you believe it's from God, and because you love God and fear God. You know, it goes back to that originally. So that's the point. So we'll have to write.
Sorry, can you also say that if you don't cover up, you still be considered as Muslim?
Yeah, yes, you can add that as well. That's fine. That's right, yes. Yeah, that's right. You don't, it's in balance, of course. You're quite right. You'd still be a Muslim, alhamdulillah. That's absolutely right. Okay, last one here is, and there's loads and loads, and at the end there's lots of awkward questions. Why we can cover, but I've just selected a few of these here. The last one here, why did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ have such a young wife? Okay, this sometimes comes up, okay, and we need to answer. What are you going to say? If someone says to you, imagine you're being interviewed, you're on BBC Two, Jeremy Paxman, is it? Jeremy Paxman there? Yes, Mr. Mohammed, you believe that Muhammad had a very young wife. Do you think it's a good idea, you know? I find it really strange, you know? What are you going to say? I don't feel I can't do Jeremy Paxman here. But I sound like Prince Charles, but similar anyway. But both are Muslims. Right. So what are you going to say? Prophet Muhammad had a very young wife. How do you answer that? Somebody says to you, how do you answer that?
You compare it to their idea of how young, because within the Western countries you've got different age limits for different, sexual relationships. And
right.
stuff like
Okay. So different society, different. As the brother saying that it was different that time because society was different.
No. Even in current society,
okay, fine.
Within the different Western countries, predominantly Christian countries, you have different age limits for certain, marriage and sexual relationships. Even in some countries, it's as young as 12. Okay. Some is as old as 17 or 18.
Right. So brother's saying even in Christian countries, Western countries, they have different limits for age of consent. Yeah, different ages for age of consent. That's true. Okay, that's one answer. What else? Anybody else? Okay. Anybody else come up with that? Why did Prophet Muhammad? They said to you, why did Prophet Muhammad say to you?
Allah ordered. It was a order of Allah, wasn't it?
It was an order of Allah. Okay. Anybody else? So basically, what you're saying to the person is, it's an order of God. God said it to her. God said it. Sorry?
It was instruction of Allah.
It was instruction of Allah. Okay.
She was sewing, so that she can learn from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she can teach to the generations which is going to come after her.
Okay, so there's some wisdom behind it.
Yeah.
There's some wisdom behind it, okay. As I said, all of these answers are correct again, okay, but now I'm going to give you a little story here, because this is the whole idea of the interaction, okay. That's why it takes so long, because little stories, you need to learn from that, okay. At our Dawah table on one occasion a few years ago, what happened was that we have our Dawah table, we tell people about Islam. The Christians come along, the evangelical churches, predominantly the black people, and they are growing very fast. Okay, and we're going to face opposition from them in the sense that they're trying to evangelize, which means do dawah as well, and they're spreading, and they're growing very fast. Okay, these are the only churches that are growing. These are also called, in common language, the happy clappy churches. That's what they call them. The normal Christians call them the happy clappy. Why? Because they have a lot of singing, dancing, and hallelujah, and you know the usual stuff. Yeah, they have that. Okay, they call happy clappy churches. Okay. They come there, they come in Kilburn High Street, and they'd start singing and dancing, and they attract young people. And in fact, only yesterday, I had a Muslim sister, would you believe? Sorry, I'm distracted from the story, but I'll just mention this quickly. Is that we had a Muslim sister yesterday, astaghfirullah. She'd become a Christian and she joined this church. Yeah, she was like about 19, 20, that sort of age. She looked that sort of age. And I was totally shocked. But alhamdulillah, she left, not doing the Shahada, but she left. Dawah table finished at 6 o'clock. We were there yesterday at 9:15, because as we were packing up quite late, at 8 o'clock I think, then she, or 8:15, something like that, she arrived, and she came to the table, and she started picking up stuff. And I thought, this is a Muslim sister. She looks like a Muslim, you know. Not dressed like a Muslim, but she was modestly dressed, like a long dress and stuff. She stood me up some stuff. I thought she must be a Muslim, so I said, okay, sorry. I said, do you want some material, whatever? Yeah, I said, just help yourself. You're a Muslim sister? She says, no, I'm a Christian. I said, oh, brilliant. I thought, this is Dawah, you know. If someone's coming and wanting information, this is golden opportunity. We're exhausted, want to go home, and I thought, we can't miss this opportunity. So I was telling her, and then later on, when I'm telling her more and more about Islam, then I said to her, by the way, sorry, always ask their name, you'll learn, very important. So sorry sister, I still call her sister, because in human beings, we're all brothers and sisters, aren't we? Adam and children, Adam and Eve. So I say, sister, if you don't get the name, I use them brother and sister, still. So I said, sorry sister, what's your name please? Can I have your name? Is it possible to have your name? She said, yeah, my name's, actually I've got a Muslim name. This is shocking for me. So I've got a Muslim name, and because I used to be a Muslim, and now I've become a Christian. I was shocked. We get this regularly, but just you still get shocked. So I said, oh, what's your name? She said, Sister Nabila. I said, okay, Sister Nabila. Okay, then I went through a discussion with her, and I'm not going to go through it now, because that's part of the training later on. But alhamdulillah, at the end, she, after about one and something hours, I can't remember the exact time, but an hour or so, she accepted that Jesus is not God, and that there is one God. Okay, but it took a lot of work. And then we had another guy come along, quite threatening actually. A black guy came along, and he stood there, and this was 9:15, you know, in a shopping area. We're a big man to be there anyway. But he came along, and then he started sort of saying, excuse me, are you a Christian? He was trying to take her back to Christianity again. You know, this was just, I couldn't believe it. So I went to the brothers. Anyway, she said that, and she took me until she was leaving, and then I went to the brothers and said, and I stood in between him and, I just went and stood in between, and he said, move. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not moving. It's a free street, I can stand where I like. And I thought, I'm going to get a punch in my back or a knife in my back. It's a bit mad, but I was going to take a risk. I stood there, and he walked around, and I stood around and walked around again. I didn't let him talk with her, basically. And then she took me to, I think she left. Yeah, she left, basically. And then I went to the brothers and said, this guy, he's a Christian guy, and he comes and really attacks Islam. And I said to him, look, shaitan al-mihi. You know, I just went to the, and he heard, he goes, you call me Satan? I just ignored it. We attacked him, we left, basically. But then he was okay about it, but he got the idea. If I said shaitan al-mihi, and he just knew straight away. Okay. But, now, coming back to this story, how she accepted, I'll come back to later, inshallah. If not, the basic idea is, if I don't cover that particular story, the basic idea is, she left at least accepting that God is one, and that Jesus is not God. One of the steps, important. Okay, let's come back to the story here. This is an important story, but I want you to learn from this. Okay, the Prophet, now, when we have a Dawah table there, we have this church, and they're singing, dancing, whatever, making a lot of noise, okay, and they don't like us giving dawah to their followers. Their pastors, their church leaders, they call them pastors, maybe more like cheese pasta, I don't know. But they come along and they, well, I'm saying the information is very cheesy. But what they do is, they just get them to sing and dance, and their congregation, their followers, they don't really know Christianity. Okay? As inshallah we'll learn Christianity, or we know Christianity. And they just get them to sing and dance, it's fun and that's all, and Jesus loves you baby, and Jesus is great, Jesus died for our sins, and all this sort of thing, yeah? It doesn't mean much, it's just sing and dance and thing. So they're there, and what we do is we go and talk with their followers. Their followers, what they do is they spread out and start giving out these cards to party on Saturday night. Okay? So we go and talk with their followers, and obviously their leadership, which are there, the pastors, that's what they call them, pastor so-and-so, pastor so-and-so, they get rattled, they don't like it, obviously. Because their followers, when we go and speak with them, actually they come toward Islam. Okay? Because Islam, if you present it systematically, they'll say, yeah, it makes more sense. Okay? If you present it properly, it makes more sense, and they'll come towards Islam. And that's what happens. So as soon as we start talking with one of their... Now, they remember, this is a shopping area. I'm going to give you the picture, because it's important, you learn from this, inshallah. They spread out and start giving these cards out. Okay? Young people, lots of young people, say 20, 30. On this occasion, about 30 people, because the top guy was there. They spread out, giving out these cards, inviting to this singing, dancing, to I think it's called UK, United Kingdom Church of God, UKCG. Yeah, UKCG Church, this particular one. They're all over the country, you've heard of them probably. Yeah? So they give out these cards, invite them to singing, dancing, and as I said to you, the same sister Nabila, she'd become a Christian, followed them. But inshallah, she's left now. But after last night, alhamdulillah. But now, this is what they do. They spread out and give this message. Now, what they do is we go and talk to their followers and invite them to Islam. Okay, we tell them Islam in a specific way. And they start accepting the message. What they do is they start phoning them. They're phoning them or calling them away. They say, look, don't do the Muslims. Can you come over here? The pastor's calling you. You need to come back because we need to go, Which basically means they're scared that they're going to be coming. So they pull them away from us. And they start going back to their little area where they're singing and dancing, whatever. They spread, the shopping area, they're gradually moving closer and closer. As we go and talk with them, they move closer to their table. They're singing music, yeah? That's what they do. That's fine. But what they did on one occasion was, now, their top guy was there. He isn't usually there. Big, muscular, Caribbean. They come in really expensive cars, and they just, you can imagine what they're up to. Okay, dodgy stuff. But, right, now what he did was, they surrounded me. Okay, now they surrounded me. Now he didn't like it. All his followers were starting to accept Islam. They kept pulling them away, phoning them, pulling them away. They didn't like it. So what he did was he came over to me and told me, look, stop talking with my followers. I said, well, it's a free, open area, shopping area. You talk with who you like, No, I don't want to. I said, well, we'll talk. We can talk with whoever we like. They're listening. We're not forcing them to listen. Your followers are listening. Alhamdulillah, they're accepting the message. No, they don't like it. Okay, so he comes up to me, right, and now 20, 30 of them surrounded me. Okay, of them. And this is what happened. He started saying, the pastor started saying, Muhammad had many wives, true or not, true or not. And they're all shouting, Muhammad was a womanizer. It was right in the middle of High Street, loud. Okay, is it true or not he had many wives? Okay, they're all shouting bad things about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, right? So I said, look, that question I could answer. This was a few years ago, 5 years ago maybe, 4 or 5 years ago. I said, yes, I said the Prophet Muhammad had many wives. I have to follow it up, because many prophets, I said, before I said yes, I said, didn't Solomon have more than 200 wives in the Bible? Didn't Jacob have more than one wife? Didn't Abraham have more than one wife? This is in the Bible, okay? So he lost the argument, okay, right? Because the other prophets had many wives. Then he said to me, Muhammad had a very young wife, true or not, right? True or not? 9-year-old, whatever, your wife, yeah? I can't remember what he said. Yeah, true or not, right? This is what he's saying, this is how he attacks. This is how they attack. And then, you know what they're all shouting? 20 of them maybe, loud their top voice, paedophile, paedophile, in the shopping area. People started gathering. You see? Dangerous situation, right? Is it true he had a young wife or not? Now, I had two options. I could say yes or no, right? I thought to myself, I remember a brother, he said to me, I was remembering this brother, when I said this, he said to me, I'm leaving this country, and he actually left this country. Why? He's a very practicing brother, used to give dawah, and he left the country, he moved to Saudi Arabia, and I think he's learning Islamic knowledge in Egypt or something. That's what I last heard. He looked at me, you know why? I spoke with him once, very strong, very pious brother, mashallah. He said to me, I'm living in this country. He said, there are brothers giving dawah and they're denying the basic things of Islam. They're taking themselves out of Islam. For example, when it comes to the Prophet Muhammad and such a young wife, they say, oh, it's not true. Okay, it's the same hadith. They're saying it's not true. And they're taking themselves out of Islam. Say, I'm leaving the country, I'm not doing dawah anymore here. I'm not involved with these people. Etc. Dawah tables, any dawah. He left the country. He left the country. Okay? Not this only reason he left the country, I'm sure, but this is what he said to me. And I was thinking to myself, in this situation, now there are 20, 30 Christians, right? There's past a guy, other non-Muslim, whatever, just observers surrounding. It's a shopping area, middle of High Street, surrounding, and they're shouting, Muhammad and your wife, true or not? And they were saying, Peter, ha. I don't know what should I say, you know, yes or no, right? Difficult. If I say no, I might be taking myself out of Islam. If I said yes, I know what's going to happen. They're going to shout, yes! And that's what happened. Disaster. Okay? I had to say yes. I said, do you have your wife or not? He ran right on the spot. Right? And he's shouting, right? And they're all shouting. So I said, yes, he had a young wife. It's true. Okay? Now, one or two brothers said, don't worry, you said it, alhamdulillah, you said the truth, that's fine, brother, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't look good. It's a disaster. It's a, it's a marketing, whatever, disaster, what do you call it, yeah? It's a disaster, it's not, okay. Because what did they do? As soon as he said, true enough, I said yes. And as soon as he said that, you all shouted, yes! Peter Weil! They all shouted, they all walked off. They walked off. And for people who are watching, it's looking like Islam's lost. You know, Islam is a bad religion, Islam's lost, and the Prophet Muhammad is a bad person, yeah, in front of the street. So now, I made lots of dua to Allah, and alhamdulillah, there is an answer I came up with. I just made lots of dua, I kept making dua until I came up with the answer, alhamdulillah. From Allah. Now, what would you have done in that situation? First thing, before I tell you what I would do now. What would you do? If you were surrounded by 20, 30 people, and they're all shouting, you've got 5 minutes left by the way before break.
I would say, don't every man dream of a young wife.
Sorry?
Every man dream of a young wife.
Every
man always wants a younger wife.
Right. No, that's fine. What he's saying is, no, that's fine, but he's talking about a 9-year-old or 8-year-old wife.
Why do you have to go to the age?
Because that's what the hadith says. The hadith says that she was 6 or 7 when the marriage took place, and she was 9 when it was consummated. This is what the hadith says. This is the problem. So we know this, alhamdulillah, that's not a problem. There is a way of answering it.
But he didn't have no physical relationship
until
she was the age of maturity.
16.
Until
age of puberty, I thought.
18 or 16.
Okay, well, it doesn't say that. Hadith says that they were physically together at 9 or 10.
Yes.
Say 116, right.
Who defines young?
Sorry?
Who defines young?
Who defines young? Okay. Okay, that's fine. But in that situation, what would you have said?
No.
Huh?
No.
No, but then you see, danger is you're rejecting hadith. See the problem? Huh? No, that would look really, really bad. Imagine in front of 30 Christians and maybe another 10, 20.
Call a friend?
Huh? Don't phone me.
I would say, let's define what a marriage life is, or marriage between two people. It's about companionship.
Look, in a dawah situation, one of the things you need to learn is to put them on the back foot. Okay, it's no good, you're not defending Islam. You can't give dawah and defend something. You've got to be on the offensive, on a verbal offensive. You've got to put them on the back foot. That's one thing you learn. True or not? Yeah. You've got to keep saying to them, yeah, you're right, Islam's right, yeah? So I'm going the wrong way. Islam's right, okay? They keep moving back. Okay? And then you've cornered them, and they're going to say, yeah, you're right, it's true. This is what happened with the girl yesterday, Nabila, who'd left Islam and become a Christian. Then I kept cornering in a certain way, I'll show you how, and then she had to accept. Okay, so you corner them. In this situation, what would you do? I made lots of dua, and alhamdulillah, I looked at, Bilal Phillips and all these, and they came up with the answers you said. Bilal Phillips comes up with your answer, brother, that in different societies they have different ages. Okay, but these are not, I'm afraid, good enough answers. I looked at all the shaykh, none of them, I'll tell you what the way to answer in dawah situation. The problem isn't the knowledge or the information, it's in a dawah situation. What would I say? I would now, if this happened, I would say this to the pastor or anybody else. Does anybody else want to add, by the way, before I give my answer? Okay, right. What I would say is, this is important because you need to learn from it. This is a general principle. It's not for specifically, but it's a general principle. I would say to them, I would say to the person, excuse me, can God ask you to do bad things? That's what I do now. Right? Now I'm going to ask you, imagine, okay, you're a Muslim, and a Christian says to you, can God ask you to do anything bad? Brother's shaking his head, which means no. Everybody agrees? Everybody agrees? God can't ask you to do something bad. We all agree? Yes? Anybody disagree? Sisters, can God ask us to do something bad? No, that means He can't ask us, yes? Okay. Does anybody think God can ask us to do something bad?
When that prophet had to kill their son.
Very good. He's got the right answer. God can, the brother said, when the prophet had to kill his son. Exactly right. Yes, you throw the Christians off. That's what I do them regularly. Sorry, can God ask you to do something bad? Right? And they'll say, no, of course not. Okay. You have to, what the answer is giving is the answer, but you have to do it in a certain way. I would say to them, can God ask you to do something bad? And they'll say, no, God can't. Because we believe in a loving God. Right? So if you ask your friend to kill his son, is that good or bad? They'll say, that's bad. Didn't God ask his friend, the prophet Abraham, to kill his son? They'll say, yes. So that's a good thing or a bad thing? They're trapped. They've just said God only asked to do good things, and God asked Abraham to kill his son. So that's a good thing then. So, do you know what I'd say to them? Now you've fallen on the ground, you really put the foot in and kick them and stab them. Verbally, not physically. Not physically, right? How? Because you say to them, astaghfirullah, that's really bad. As a Muslim, we believe God is a loving God, and He only does good things. And He can ask us to do something bad, because something that appears bad, as the brother said here, has got some wisdom behind it. Okay, that's the point, right? So the question now, the point what I'm trying to say is, you say to in this situation, or the Christian, you say to them, can God ask you to do something bad? And they would say, no, of course not. Then you could say, as didn't God ask his friend Abraham to kill his son, as the brother said, right? And they'll say yes. Isn't that a bad thing? They'll say yes. So basically they've lied, or they've fallen in a trap. Okay? I would say to them, yes, it's a bad thing, but there is some wisdom behind it. The same way God asked, isn't it bad for someone to ask a lady to throw her baby into a fast-flowing river? It's a bad thing to do. It is a bad thing to do. But God did ask the mother of Moses to throw her child into the river in a box. Yeah. The reason being, there is some. Number one is it appears bad. Number one, okay, it appears bad. Number two, there is some wisdom behind it. Number three, God knows what's going to happen in the future, and God knows the consequence of that will be good. You follow? God might ask you to do something which, not us, but the prophets we're talking about, and other people, that appears bad or wrong. Appears, remember the word appears. It isn't bad or wrong. It appears wrong, but God knows the consequence is going to be good. Okay, and it's not going to happen. Right? Now, we come back to Hazrat Aisha. Is that what you're saying?
No, just a quick question. The question that you asked, the answer is to a Christian, right?
Yes.
Say if they're non-believers.
Okay.
Atheists.
Right, okay. The atheist, no, it's not a problem. With atheists, but the thing is, you need to know who the person is. Okay? Yes. Now, if the person is an atheist, it's still not a problem. With an atheist, I would say, if the atheist said this same thing,
But some atheists do have knowledge.
Of course, if the atheist said to me, why did Prophet Muhammad marry? Okay, we'll learn this later on, inshallah, how to do with atheists. But what I would say to the atheist is, look, to understand this, you need to believe in the Creator. Do you believe in the Creator? I'd say this. And they say, no, of course not. I said, no, rubbish, mate. Right? No, I can prove to you there's a Creator. You say to them, I can prove to you there's a Creator. Okay. I'm going to answer this, but I'm going to prove to you there's a Creator. They're going to, no, you can't. It's rubbish. I can prove to you. Right? And I'm going to go through 4 proofs that there is a Creator. Okay, we'll go later, inshallah. And that's what you do. You say, I can prove to you there's a Creator. And when you say that, they'll think, rubbish, you can't prove it. I can prove it now. Give me 2 minutes. I said, once I said this to the guy, I said to him, give me 2-3 minutes. And he goes, no, I'll give you 1 minute. Right? That's how you want it. Crazy. Okay, I said, I'll do it. Take up the challenge. You can't say no. I say, okay, I'll do it. I stood there, and I think it was, I can't remember the time, it was 6 months or so ago, and 45 minutes later, he agreed. There is a creator. He took a lot of the material for it. He didn't become Muslim, but then I discovered later on that he had a degree in philosophy, a degree in law, and a degree in international relations. A black guy, African guy, well spoken, spoke really good English, and speaking with him, he's just like we're closing at our table, and I said to him this, and he said to me, excuse me, can I tell you about this? How we do our Dawah thing? He said, can I tell you, do you know what the purpose of life is? He goes, nah, I'm an atheist. I said, I can prove to you God exists. He said, what? God exists? Yeah, sure, go on. I said, you can't. I said, I can. Give me 2 minutes. And he said, no. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute, he said. But alhamdulillah, he stood there then for 45 minutes. I think about 45 minutes, I can't remember, 45 minutes an hour, something like that, approximate time. And alhamdulillah, he accepted, yes, okay, it makes sense that there is a creator. I'll go through that later, inshallah. So, just to sum up very quickly, we'll just stop, inshallah. So, in this situation, yes, sorry, I'll just finish, inshallah, is that, yes, you say to them, can God ask you to do something bad? You put them on, now you've got them on the back foot. You see the point? They'll say, no, I can't. Yes, he can. Because God, then you say to them, yes, he can, because something that appears bad, God knows the wisdom behind it. Also, God knows there's some, that it's not going to happen. Okay, and you give the example. Now, when you come back to Aisha, what was the wisdom behind it? Somebody, a brother already said, the wisdom behind it was that later on, Aisha radiallahu anha, she related many thousands of hadiths, okay, and which was a great benefit to the Muslim Ummah. Okay, this is the great benefit to the Muslim Ummah from her marrying the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and relaying information. Also, okay, so this, and also, as the brother said earlier on, that it was a command. Look, he didn't marry Aisha because he wanted to marry Aisha. He married Aisha radiallahu anha. I'm sorry, I should keep saying radiallahu anha. He married Aisha radiallahu anha because of a dream that he saw. True? Now, a dream of a prophet is not like yours and our dream. Okay? Our dream can be a good dream, can be a bad dream, can be from the devil, could be from our thoughts. But the dream of a prophet is revelation from Allah. So Allah commanded him to marry Aisha. So how can you not marry her? And the wisdom was immense, benefit for the Muslim Ummah. So that's what you've got to say. So yes, God can ask you to do something that appears wrong, but there's some wisdom behind it. As the Christian would agree, they have to agree, because their base of Christianity is based on Abraham killing his son. They say Abraham was asked to kill his son, that's why God killed his son. That's what the Christians say. Crazy. But that's, anyway, yeah, that's what they say. So inshallah. Jazakallahu khairan for listening. We'll stop inshallah for a break and then we'll continue after each other.
Never alone.